Welcome back to Corner Stories. Please enjoy the stories of the day. Hit that like and subscribe button and let's get on to story 1. I need some advice, I'm desperate. My husband and I have been married for over a year and my application for permanent residence, PR, is in process. He hit me in the face this morning while I was breastfeeding our 2-month-old. I politely asked him for my painkillers for my C-section pain. I forgot that he asked me to make coffee before he left for work since the baby was already crying, so it slipped my mind. This is not the first time he was abusive. The abuse started after a week of marriage, physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually and financially. He turned out to be a monster and the man I fell in love with was gone. Now he threatened to take away our baby and deport me if I leave and report him. I came here 3 years ago as an international student from the Philippines and just started working as a full-time RN before giving birth. Now that I'm on leave, he expects me to do everything in the house and he hasn't even taken care of our baby since we left the hospital. He said, and I quote, "This is how the household works in Canada. The wife works in the house with the children while us husbands bring the money." I didn't say anything after that. He works 10 hours a day, 5 days a week in construction. Sometimes I don't blame him for his anger issues because I know how physically demanding his job is, especially in this weather. I have no immediate family here and I have no financial future back home. What options do I have? I cannot leave our baby with him. It will be the death of me to be separated from my child. Relevant comments: they are very unlikely to separate you from your child if the child was born here. Report it to the police ASAP. OP replied, "I did try, but as soon as he knew I was gonna call the cops on him, he said he would cancel my PR, permanent residency, application. He is sponsoring me." Comment: go to a woman's shelter with your baby. Take whatever money you can get your hands on and go while he is at work. They will protect you and your baby from him and help you with your immigration and custody stuff. If you drop the city here, we can find the nearest best one for you. Reporting it to the police is not enough. You need to leave now. There were conflicting opinions on whether or not the husband could cancel her application for permanent residency, but everyone agreed that OOP had options. He is lying. He cannot cancel your PR application. He is using scare tactics to control you and keep you in line, knowing that you do not know the laws. What he is doing is blackmail. You need to report him to the police immediately and tell them everything. You should also get a lawyer or talk to one and tell them everything. They can help you as well. I also would take your baby and go to a women's shelter. I would also tell the women's shelter what is going on. They can help you. Do not let him get away with this. Report him to the police immediately. Not tomorrow or the next day, but right now, as soon as you see this. A different poster said, "There's a lot of misinformation in this thread. A sponsor can absolutely withdraw their participation in a sponsorship application, as long as the application is still in process. No sponsor equals no application. Also, if your husband is convicted of an offense against a relative that caused bodily harm, he would become unable to sponsor you or anyone else. So your application will not move forward. That doesn't mean he can have you deported. You do have options. Get help from a domestic violence hotline or organization as others suggested. Call IRCC, they have options for you. No, you most likely won't be able to become a PR through sponsorship, but you could through a humanitarian and compassionate PR application. In the meantime, you may get the opportunity to work while you wait for the outcome of that application. IRCC has the info." Someone also posted the IRCC link for people in an abusive situation, and that's exactly what you need. I wish you all the best. You and your child deserve so much better. OP edited her post to say the following, edit, "Thank you everyone, I appreciate all your advice. He is at work and I'm currently in a shelter and some friends helped me with my stuff and the babies. The thing is, my husband has both our OHIP card, temp paper for baby, edit 2, we are both 29 years old and he is Caucasian born and raised here in the province. Edit 3, the police and immigration are now involved. Edit 4, different women heal differently. Since I have been active with little to no rest after the baby was born plus the physical and sexual abuse, I am still in pain and yes, will be talking to my provider as soon as I get my OHIP from my ex-husband. Thank you all." Update: husband threatened to report me to immigration if I leave him. Hi all, I just want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone on this sub for all your advice and help. I'm currently at the airport with my brothers and dad, my mother who decided to wait for me back home since she couldn't stand seeing my bruised face and body, had to undergo a minor surgery, waiting for our flight. They are devastated and hurt, especially my father. I was able to secure my child's passport urgently without my ex-husband's consent. Police and immigration reports were sufficient enough. I also reported my situation to my employer and Service Canada that I will be out of the country during my leave and will be back next year. Lastly, I have also informed CRA and found out that he was the recipient for the child benefit. So the agent changed it and also our status. So happy I'm separated from the abuser. His family also reached out to me and offered a place to stay in their house since they didn't know the abuse that was going on and they didn't want us to leave the country. LOL. I cut them all in my life. The trauma and stress I have endured these past months were unbearable that I don't want anything to do with them. My ex-husband is currently in jail. Again, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all. Story 2. Woman makes false assault harassment claim, her life gets totaled Part 1, Oi. Here we go. So I was working in HQ for a large and well-known company, cubicle sorta gig. I had been there 3 years and she had been there about 12. She's known to have a bit of an attitude and was pretty much next in line to fill a very high position under the CEO. She's always not liked many of the office workers, pretty much all the men, and one woman she would constantly make cry. I one day ended up rushing past her in a hurry to hand something off to my supervisor which he needed ASAP, both of my hands quite obviously occupied holding something at chest level. She ended up filing a harassment claim saying I grabbed her ass. After 2 weeks of hellish unpleasantness I ended up getting my supervisor to pull cam footage as they were pretty much about to term me, which saved my ass. Well, I'm friends with a guy she looks to talk to, even though he doesn't much like her. I ended up giving him my recorder pen a few weeks later and got him to try and egg her into talking about trying to get me fired. He managed to get her to admit to that and 3 other instances where she did get men fired for false harassment claims. I ended up getting the recording back, made a few copies and ended up handing them off to HR, each of the 3 other men in question via email, my boss and his boss, her husband, anonymously, and everybody on the board. I basically forced the company into a situation where their star player couldn't stay, because A, 2 of the 3 men are currently looking to sue, B, I was getting ready to as well, and C, it was completely indisputable. I lost her job and career, any chance at using the place as a reference, and probably damaged her marriage. She's not getting a severance, or any of her PTO paid to her. Edit. We sign a contract stating if we are terminated for wrongdoing we can lose our PTO and accruals. She sent me an email calling me an evil bastard, saying she hopes karma pays it forward soon, and a few other things. Note: I live in a state where I don't need consent to record something. Part 2. After she was terminated they went through her company email and apparently found out she had been stealing thousands from the company corporate card she had, eating out irregularly with clients, partners, colleagues and charging the company accounts cards for it. She had also been using the company's flight mileage for herself on things not actually business related. She also used it to buy gifts for some of her superiors. Turns out there were some more false claims she made to total other people's jobs we weren't aware of, one possibly being the reason her positional predecessor ended up leaving, the latter is speculation. I haven't gotten my hands on any copies yet from my friends in HR. I've gotten a lot of people jobs at this company, so I've got access to a lot of information. About 9 people around her were terminated, maybe more. At least 3 were suspended. HR is looking through years of footage also. They seem to have either forgotten about me, or are saving me for last, since I've not really decided to insert myself into this massive multidimensional quantum dumpster fire. They are handing out NDAs and such like they are hot cakes. Lawsuits are happening. 2 of the 3 men I sent information to are suing the company hard. One of which, I'll point out, nearly lost his marriage. I'm very happy this relieves some stress for him. It is looking like she is going to be prosecuted by the company, and hard. Somebody told me her husband left her. I have no proof of this. Only my boss mentioned it. Supposedly his boss told him that. His boss and her were very chummy. My friend, the one who took the recording for me, took a huge severance, 9 months of normal pay, and his PTO, and is starting at big tech company starting with an S, in 4 weeks. They decided to get him on board early. Originally he started in January. Also, she sent me another message, saying I am the most evil person she has ever met, whom got away with something terrible, and she hopes I die. Me. Okay. How's your husband? Edit. 1/10/16/19 They are looking at about $2.3 million, my boss says. How do you spend that much money on food and flights in 5 years? Comment. Evil woman, you're evil. I hope you die, well, at least I'll probably die with my spouse by my side. Where's yours? Comment. Holy crap. This last post took the revenge from pro to nuclear, even without you needing to do anything illegal. I just don't understand why she feels the need to make up fake harassment claims though. I've always lived by the adage, don't do more than one illegal thing at a time. IDK, I feel like if I were her, I'd try to keep my head down and stir as little shit as possible. All you had to do is give her enough rope, and she hung herself. Update, 9 days later so about 18 people were pushed out, terminated or made to take a severance and dip. She was embezzling money on food, gifts, what you view as bribes and other things. She made 6 such claims and somebody anonymously may or may not have informed the other people who ended up getting terminated by her. One of said people was the person who previously had the position she held till this all blew up. He is going to rip her in half legally. She basically lied to climb the corporate ladder by getting somebody above her fired. I was made to sign an NDA, given a severance that is about 14 months of my normal pay, as well as my 120 hours of PTO and my 60 hours of sick time. I'll be starting my new job at tech company starting in a few weeks, so I'm not too worried. I also got 3 letters of recommendations and such as well as some good references, all men that hated her. So I'm good. Honestly, I'm glad I'm out of there. Even though I did nothing wrong in regards to her, all the women in the office side with the lying $B at and have been giving me a hard time. I am talking to a lawyer about the hostile work environment and some other stuff. NDAs don't protect from illegal activity. One person on the board is stepping down and one is on a sudden vacation. Not entirely sure what that's about. May he related but I'll likely not find out. My friend who recorded for me is working at tech company starting with an S, as of today. He started early and put his huge severance into savings. My boss, a good friend of mine too, just got the liar's position and is cleaning house of people he suspects got away clean. We have reason to believe 3 people benefited from her shit by getting promoted based on comments she made, so he's going to move them to different departments away from each other. From what I've heard, this may have blown her marriage to shreds and she may be looking at prison time for likely grand theft, defamation and some other stuff. She got my personal email from her assistant and some of my personal info. Her assistant has been fired. And she's been emailing me and harassing me. I had a talk with the law in my area. I was told I have all the right in the world to stand my ground if she physically threatens me. I have documentation and recording. She's nuts. One of you suggested this may happen. Good guess, lol. I am also now, according to her, a hate-filled misogynistic piece of shit. I will burn in hell. I'm a traitor and a liar. And karma is likely going to end up killing me. SRSLY. WTF. I'm just gonna enjoy my few weeks off, play some Destiny on the box, drink and relax. This multidimensional quantum dumpster fire is no longer my problem, now that it's rolling downhill. I won't likely be updating this any further. Only did because of the hundreds of requests for the finale. You all have a good one, smiley face. Thanks for reading. Thank you all for the support and advice. Some of it actually helped a lot. Comment. Great work covering yourself. It sucks that corporate environments require so much CYA, but you executed it well in response to her lies. Enjoy your time off, OP. It was an absolute miserable first 2 weeks. The 2 weeks after were rough because every woman in the office was cold shouldering me and or actively quite aggressive. It got easier once she was purged and the mess spilled onto everybody's laps. Honestly, even though I came out on top, I've got some new anxiety issues to compartmentalize, and I'll be using my recording pen for absolutely all conversations I'm in the workplace from now on. I have some severe anxiety issues, and this just added an entire new room to the mental house I store it in. But I got my 7 I start at in a few weeks. So there's that. Thanks for the positive comment. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corner Stories signing off.